Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol
Jai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol
Jai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dayaya Sarva Bhuteshu Santusya Yena Kenava Sarvendriyopasantyacha Tustatyasu Janardanaha Dayaya Sarvabhuteshu Santusya Jinakenava Sarvendriyopasantyacha Tusyantyasu Janardanaha Dayaya sarvabhuteshu santustya jena kenava sarvendriyo pasyantyakcha tusyatyashu janardana. Tusyatena kenava sarvendriyo pasantyakcha tusyatyashu janardana. Dayaya sarvabhuteshu santustya jena kenava sarvendriyo pasantyakcha tusyatyashu janardana. Dayaya sarvabhuteshu santustya jena kenava Dayaya sarvabhuteshu yena kenava sarvendriyo pasantyakcha santyashu janardana. Dayaya, by showing mercy, sarvabhuteshu, to all living entities, santustya, by being satisfied, yena kenava, somehow or other, sarva indriya, all the senses, upasantya, by controlling, cha, also, tusyati, becomes satisfied, ashu, very soon, janardana, the Lord of all living entities. Translation: by showing mercy to all living entities, being satisfied somehow or other, and controlling the senses from sense enjoyment, one can very quickly satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Janardana. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. These are some of the ways in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be satisfied by the devotee. The first item mentioned is Dayaya Sarva Bhuteshu, showing mercy to all conditioned souls. The best way to show mercy is to spread Krishna consciousness. The entire world is suffering for want of this knowledge. People should know that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original cause of everything. Knowing this, everyone should directly engage in his devotional service. Those who are actually learned, advanced in spiritual understanding, should preach Krishna consciousness all over the world so that people may take to it and make their life successful. The word Sarva Bhuteshu is significant because it applies not only to species of life. The devotee can do good not only to humanity, but to all living entities as well. Everyone can benefit spiritually by the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. When the transcendental vibration of the Hare Krishna is sounded, even the trees, animals and insects benefit. Thus, when one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly, he actually shows mercy to all living entities. To spread the Krishna consciousness movement throughout the world, the devotees should be satisfied in all conditions. Narayana para sarve nakutaschana vivichyate swarga pavarga narkeshu apitulya darshana. It does not matter to the pure devotee if he has to go to hell to preach. The Supreme Lord lives in the heart of a hog, although the Lord is in Vaikuntha. Even while preaching in hell, a pure devotee remains a pure devotee by his constant association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To attain this state, one has to control his senses. The senses are automatically controlled when one's mind is engaged in the service of the Lord. Magyānatimirandasya gyananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam jena tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastavitare Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Picharine Nirvishesha Sunnivadi Paschatya Desatari.
So, since we are having His Grace Havi Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada's disciple, and these books like Bhagavad Gita is now also available in Braille language. So you want, if Prabhuji can kindly touch them and display them, so that maybe in future some other souls can take benefit who are not blessed with biological eyes, but they may have spiritual eyes, the eyes of knowledge. So I would request Havi Prabhuji to kindly display them.
So this is the Braille?
Braille, yes, in Braille. Hari Bol. And also glories of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And songs of Vaishnava Acharyas. Lord Jagannath and Dashavatar. And Krishna book.
Krishna book also.
Yes. Gopal, the protector of cows. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So we have Her Grace Champaklata Mataji from ISKCON Hyderabad. She has done this task of bringing Bhagavad Gita, Gopal Krishna Maharaj glories and other books. So we request Prabhuji kindly bless her that she may continue these services. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I interrupted.
It's all right. It's a treasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One of the main lines if not the most important line that I find in this verse is, so one can ask, how can I satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? The first thing that stands out here is showing mercy to all living entities. And this is where I would like to focus or zoom in order to speak about sharing the treasure. So I was very nervous. When am I going to speak, say something? So I said to myself, you have to first of all call Prabhupada. Really? Are you going to call Prabhupada? Yes, if you want to speak to him, you have to address him. Okay. So I went, Srila Prabhupada, and he stopped. I said, yes. I didn't know what to say. I didn't expect this fast response. So I said, what is the meaning of the word Havi? Havi. And he said, what is that? Havi. What is this, Havi? Yeah. Oh, you gave me this name. I think it has something to do with sacrifice, or it says, oh, Havi. Havi. Havi is ghee offered in sacrifice. Thank you very much, Prabhupada. And we kept on walking. So I said, oh, he spoke to me and I spoke to him. It happened, but is this all? Or should I try again? So I said, Srila Prabhupada, when are you coming to Caracas, Venezuela? Where? Venezuela is South America. So he said, are you ready? And I said, the whole world is ready for you, Srila Prabhupada. So in this way, I established a connection with Srila Prabhupada. I was very nervous, but I did it. 1975, I asked permission to Hridayananda Das Goswami to go to Colombia. I started my preaching and my devotional life in Venezuela in 1972. Actually, in 1971 in Israel. I was born in Israel and I grew up in Venezuela. So 71, I met devotees in Israel, and I was quite impressed. Do you want to hear that story? Really? Okay. So I was convinced that spiritual life was the aim of life. My grandfather was an Orthodox Jew. He was a rabbi. He was very religious. But I didn't grow up with him. Still, I had connection with him, and I admired and loved him very much. He had a huge stash of books in Hebrew about the ancient Hebrew text. I asked him some questions about life, about God. Answers were very nice, but I still was not totally satisfied. I needed more in-depth. He was very quiet and very silent. So he used to. So in one of these visits that I stay at his house, at his apartment, somebody knocked the door. And when I went out, opened the door, there was a very thin young man with long hair. And I said, hello. He said, yes, I was asking if somebody knows some Spanish-speaking people because I am coming from India and I'm going to Argentina where I live, but I don't have a place to stay. Is that okay if I stay here with you? And we said, yes, please, stay. I asked him, is that okay? He said, yes, please stay. To make a long story short, he was a very interesting fellow. He took the guitar and started to play the guitar in a very harmonious way. He was singing like middle Renaissance, in the Renaissance music in Europe. Those and I was very impressed. And then we started to speak, and then we ended up at the roof. We ended up at the roof, 2 o'clock in the morning, and he was speaking, and I was fascinated. And then at one point, he spoke about truth and reality. And I asked him, what is truth? What is reality? And he said, I know that my hands are made of water, and they cannot grasp anything. But one day, the seed of the tree of beauty will come into my heart, and the flower will be love of God. And I just looked at him. I said, I don't know what he's saying. Nice poetry. But I asked him a question, and he gave me a poetry. So we're going to sleep because I said, no, if this is the kind of answers I'm getting, then I'm going nowhere. So let's go to sleep. He had his sleeping bag. Solomon had his bed. I had mine. But somehow or other, I asked him before we fell asleep. His name was Roberto. I said, Roberto, do you do yoga? And he sat down, he looked at my eyes and he said, yes, bhakti yoga. But don't ask me anything else. I said, okay. He could have said anything, Rumba yoga or Fufi yoga. I didn't know what bhakti was anyways. Next day, he was not there anymore. And I decided to go to my grandmother's house. So I go and walk to the bus station, and when I'm in the bus station, I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. Where's the bus? Oh, Saturday. In Israel, because of religious reasons, there is no buses Saturday. It would be nice in India if there is no buses in India Saturdays and Sundays. Anyways, so I said, okay, I have to take a taxi because no buses. So I walk, and as I walk to the main road, I found a kiosk that has magazines and sweets and newspaper, and one picture caught my attention. So I went near and I took the magazine and I started to read in my 3rd class Hebrew. And it says, Krishna is God. I said, oh, another name, another tradition, another God. Oh my God, I don't want this. I fell asleep. I didn't go to my grandmother's house. I went to this house of this guy. It was 1 hour in a car. And it was amazing because he left me like 100 meters from the house because there was a park in between. And I ran to this place as if I was going to see my mother or something. I was running and I was happy. There was joy in my heart. And I was saying, hey, what's going on with you? Why are you so happy? I didn't understand. So I knocked the door, and when The door is open. There is this Dinesh Chandra from California saying, Hare Krishna. And I said, hi. And I saw him, and he had some painting in his forehead. Strange. And then he had some hair, but not here. He had hair here. So I said, oh my God, where am I? So he said, please come in. So so I came in, and immediately I got into a very mystical place, very beautiful environment with pictures everywhere and paintings and smell of incense. And I said, I like this. I said, so he said, please sit down. And I was looking the chair. There was no chair. You in the floor? Okay. So I sat on the floor, Then he gave some plate of fruit, and I was waiting for the spoon or something. He said, no, we eat with the hand. You eat with the hand. Okay, so I started to eat with the hand. And I saw this picture of this young, attractive character in a painting. So I said, who is this? That is Krishna. Oh. And who is Krishna? Krishna is God. He's the source of everything. Are you serious? I said, why? Well, everybody's looking for God under the earth, in the moon, in big scripture. You have hanging in your wall. How is it possible? I cannot take you very seriously. Until he brought the Bhagavad Gita. And the first thing he said, Dahinosmin jata dehe kumaram juvanam jara tatra dehantara prapti dhiras tatra namuyate. First of all, I love the sound of that. And then, the soul is within the body, and then the soul goes through witnessing the stages of infancy, a youth, and then old age, and then tatra dehantara, you take another body at the time of death. And I said, yes. Because up to that moment, everybody was telling me that you have two choices. Either there is nothing, or there is heaven and hell. But there was no reincarnation, and that makes sense. So I said, give me more, and give me more. And the more he was giving me, the more I said, I will come back. Can I come back again? He gave me a book, Elevation to Krishna Consciousness. I saw that book yesterday in your table here, Elevation to Krishna Consciousness. It was my first book. Second time that I went, he was the first one, his name Dinesh Chandra, he was the first one who recorded Srila Prabhupada's classes in 1965-66. He was the first one. Then there was Krishna Kanti, who was another devotee who used to do that in the 70s. But he's the one who did the original. So he had the original tapes, 7.5-inch tape. So he said, you want to hear my spiritual master? I said, okay. So he put the tape, and then he gave me the headphones. Vandeham Sri. I went, I remember that we celebrate Lord Chaitanya's birth. So this is my second day that I visit him. I didn't know who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. Now guess how many people were there? Give me a number. Come on. What? 100? 1. Me. I was the only guest. And there were like 35 preparations. And this is the first time I eat halava. My first encounter with halava. Halava ki jai. Because halava made me a devotee. And then we started to chant Hare Krishna, and then I was finished. I was finished. I got the books from Srimad Bhagavatam, the original ones, that they were divided, of the first canto were divided into several little books. And I took that to South America, and I started to speak to my friends and my colleagues. And eventually a temple came, and I became part of the temple. And we went to distribute books. And the way we distribute books in Venezuela was in the buses. I recommend you to try it. There are so many hundreds of buses in India and Delhi. It was fantastic because we had to stop people one by one. Hello, thank you. Here, this book, yoga, stress. Yeah, we use all these codes and all these names, and and then they want to go away, and they say no, thank you, no. You have to try again with the other one. Right? But when you go into a bus and you go, hello, ladies and gentlemen, you are sitting down here. You are mine. This book is the book from yoga, and I start to give the same speech, but to 45, 50, 60 people sitting down and some standing. And then we started to distribute 10, 15 at the same time. And then we went back from the bus out. And there were 45 buses coming to us, and every bus was like Vaikuntha. Instead of looking at the smog, the contamination, and no. For us was the opportunity. The opportunity. Or a bag of sweets. We offer the sweets, and we say, ladies and gentlemen, we need money to print books, and so on and so forth. Please take one sweet and give us sub-donation. And in this way, we have managed to open the temple and maintain the temple in Colombia. So this, thank you. But my main point here is the book distribution. Just think about that you can actually, of course, buses sometimes in India, they're so crowded you won't be able to speak to anybody, right? So you have to be very selective. When to go, how to go, and see if this is too full. And then ask permission to the bus driver, or give him a book, or just a sweet, nice prasadam. And then you can speak, ladies and gentlemen, Hare Krishna. You can say Hare Krishna in Delhi. You're not a Martian in India. We were Martian. As soon as we came with brahmachari, saffron into a bus in Colombia. Who is this? What is he doing? But in India, this is not going to happen. You can go and try do that. I recommend it strongly because it's the same effort, but instead of one by one, you have 35, 40, 50. And sometimes we had tricks. Like if somebody says in the back, yes, 1 second, yes, we're coming with a magazine. So this was the experience of Venezuela and Colombia. I tell you one more story, and this story has to do with my first visit as a president of Columbia Temple to India, 1970. ¿Cuál era? 1975, Srila Prabhupada was there in Mayapur. We came there to buy kurtas and dhotis and japas and kartas and mirdangas and bring it to Colombia. But as I was with some of the elder devotees, I heard that Srila Prabhupada wanted to speak to the leaders. Do you follow? Srila Prabhupada wants to speak to the leaders. So I said, I am a president of the Temple of Columbia, then I should be a leader, right? I wasn't really the leader that he meant. He meant the top leaders, not the medium side. But I took that as I was the first one to arrive into Prabhupada's room. I went, immediately. I ran. And as soon as I got into Srila Prabhupada's room, I was at the door and he was sitting and he was just looking at his hand. Simply looking at his hand. Sometimes he put the hand down and go his head up. Very slow movements. Very abnormally slow, as if he was in a dense, like he was in a dense environment. It is not natural for us to move this slow, and he was like that. And I saw him, I immediately gave obeisances. And I went to the corner of the room. Why? Because when the leaders, the real leaders would come, they were not going to, Havi, please, you have to go. You. I didn't want them to kick me out. So I went to the corner, far corner. And here we were, Srila Prabhupada and I in the same room. And Srila Prabhupada, we didn't speak. We didn't even look at each other's eyes. He was looking at his hand. And I couldn't even blink because that image of Srila Prabhupada was so particular, I couldn't understand. Eventually, the leaders came, and they all sat in front of Srila Prabhupada. We're talking about 28 to 30 devotees, the real leaders of the temples. And everybody sat in front of Prabhupada and had the same attitude of mind. We all were just looking at him. Just looking at him. And Srila Prabhupada was. And then suddenly the light went off. So Bhavananda and Jayapataka Maharaj, they had lantern? What? Kerosene lantern. And you know, when you have a little bit of fire, just a little bit, it moves, right? On each side of the room. And you know what happened? This is very artificial. these lights. But when you have two simple fire, a lantern with a little fire, the whole room became even more mystical and more beautiful, more deeper. At that time, Srila Prabhupada started to speak. So, what do they say? So at that time there was a big controversy in 1975. Srila Prabhupada, they say we are brainwashing. So Prabhupada went back to his hand. And he said, we are not brainwashing, we are brain giving. There's a difference between the two, huh? Because that only tells the humor, the sense of humor of Prabhupada. Because in order to wash, you have to first have. How can you wash something you don't have? So we're, first of all, let's give the brain. Then we can speak about washing. And then he said, I don't understand you people from the West. Is washing bad? If something is dirty, washing is bad? You know, it's like you have your shirt is dirty, and he washed his shirt. It was dirty, and now, so what's the problem? What's the problem? Washing is good. So, these little encounters, Los Angeles, Israel, Colombia, Venezuela, Mayapur, and so on. Those are experiences that I hope I can remember at the time of death. Because, you know, it says, you know, according to your mentality at the time of death, that is where your future is. So, the first condition, showing mercy, giving knowledge, distributing what we have, the treasure. We can do so many things, but always trying to bring people to Krishna because they're looking for Krishna and they don't know it. So at this point I would like to thank you that you had so much patience to listen to me. And the second thing is that if you have any question that you would like to ask, I am here for you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you very much for sharing this wonderful sweet pastimes with Srila Prabhupada and your personal sweet journey. And my sincerest gratitude to you because as you have given us a wonderful song, Gauranga Karuna Karo. That's really historical and coming generations would be listening to it and relishing it. So my humble request with folded hands would be if you can kindly sing few lines of this legendary composition by you.
Well, it's not composed by me.
What
I did is that I did a version of that. But I need to have, you see, at the age of 72, I forget even my name. Okay. So I would Chester, and then you find Symphony of the Soul. So if you want to hear the music, Vaishnava music in a symphonic format, please visit this place. Gauranga Kapuruna Korodina Indijane Mosamo Patita Prabhunai Tribhumani Dante Trinatari Gaura Dakiye Tomare Kripa Kariye Samarido Yamandi Jadi Dayana Karibe Patita Dekiya Patita Pavana Nama Kisera Lagiya Padachi Bhavatu Pannena Iko Nistana Sri Charana Taruni Danidasse Karpa Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhudasa Ranudasa Prarthana Karaye Sadhana Tamuda Jadi Dayana Karive Patita Lekiya. If you find it in YouTube, we can. You want to hear it with the orchestra?
Oh yes.
So why don't you? Yes. Go from the beginning.
Gauranga Karuna
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Havi Prabhu ji ki jai. So let's pay our gratitude to Prabhu ji for such a wonderful, sweet session. Receiving blessings from Srila Prabhupada's disciple is certainly a great fortune. So let's pay our gratitude to Prabhu ji by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. His Grace Havi Prabhu ji ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Book Distribution Marathon ki jai. Vaishnav Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Krishna Prasadam ki jai. Okay, दोपहर में आज की संडे लव फीस्ट लेक्चर गिवन बाय हिज ग्रेस श्री दामा प्रभु जी. तो मॉर्निंग में प्रभुपाद जी के शिष्य से हमें आशीर्वाद मिला और दोपहर में भी. सो प्लीज टेंपल हॉल में रहिएगा दोपहर में 1 बजे फॉर अ स्पेशल लेक्चर बाय हिज ग्रेस श्री दामा प्रभु जी. हरि बोल.